I had a good time. So do you guys want to talk about a little bit of Triple A? A little bit of Triple A and what the dirt sheets, all of a sudden they think they got the scoop? We head over here. Right. PW Chronicle posts that for years, WWE had given the hard no on working with Alberto El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio, and Patron himself claimed that conversations took place but said he would never work for WWE again. So for those of you unaware, Alberto is the current AAA champion. Those close to Patron claim that he has said different, and the two sides had discussed possible appearances and that it was no longer contentious. Yeah, so basically, the dirt sheets, of course, Fightful knows this all of a sudden, right? So Sap's melting down on X today, and I don't know why people would think we should know everything. Because if anybody says you don't know something, you attack them and bitch at them, and bro, like, we've been over this. You've been in spaces where people are like, why do you jump all over people? And you're like, I don't care if people criticize my reporting. Okay, they're criticizing your lack of reporting on like the biggest news stories in all of pro wrestling. Okay, so they're just being critical of that. So if you don't care, then why do you care? It's silliness, man. So anyways, though, Fightful all of a sudden finds out this info between Patron and now maybe whatever. I'm not even saying this isn't true, right? I'm sure WWE was like, we're not going to see Alberto Del Rio on maybe on that NXT crossover thing, maybe. Or maybe AAA goes, we're taking the belt off him because they don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't see Nick Nemeth on any of he hasn't shown up in NXT and like, I'm going to take when he was world champ or anything, you know? So I think Alberto's sort of in that category, right? They're more focused on like, well, we're going to showcase El Hijo and these other guys. Nick Nemeth, okay, you were just in WWE. You're not going to be part of this invasion stuff. Yes, Dirty Dango, right? A little bit of him. Sure, but he's always been tight with WWE. Him and Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze has always low-key had a job in WWE. Fandango was just a dude who he was a victim of the times, sort of. I would say that. And Vince McMahon, right? Like not pulling the trigger on him and stuff like that. But anyways, not to make it about John Curtis. With Alberto, I think he's sort of in that category, right? He's just a guy like they probably won't try and feature him much, or don't be shocked if the title flips around. But they've obviously talked like, look, we're not going to condemn Del Rio any further, whatever. Like, you guys just handle who's your champion, you know? It's not like they're going to book him right away or anything. So that could be true, though, what they're saying. I don't know. But one thing I was told, allegedly, this is an allegedly, okay?
Allegedly.
So one of the things that WWE's like could potentially, we'll hit an X-Files, right? Because this is just, I'm just educated guessing, actually. No one said, we're just talking. We're just talking here. We're just speculating, right? WWE's made, tens of millions from Rey Mysterio over the years. They've made millions off of, I think they've probably made millions off the Penta stuff already. I wouldn't be shocked if they made, in the seven figures or whatever for Penta's year, plus Ray Phoenix's stuff now. And, their merch game is second to none. Now, one thing WWE can offer these other promotions and stuff to help cross over to America that AEW couldn't ever, because they don't even have their merch game on point, is just the whole merch stuff. But so the merch game, right? So they can help feature and get AAA merch out there in a way, and that's like an incentive for AAA to be like, yes, we want your marketing behind our luchas. So El Hijo del Vikingo, we're just going to call him Vikingo now, and we're going to figure out how to market this guy correctly and get eyeballs on your stuff in America and vice versa, whatever, right? So the merch thing is like if they'll help AAA make way more money just with that alone. That could be an incentive, right? I don't know. Maybe we have a WWE shop with a section where it's like, maybe El Hijo blows up. They just had him on WrestleMania, so maybe he blows up and they're like, hey, look, here's like a AAA section, or like here's 5 of the top guys from AAA who we also have their stuff on WWE shop or whatever, right? So they're going to help in that aspect, which is huge for the wrestlers, because the wrestlers are like, oh man, maybe I don't get all this upfront cash, but look at the long-term money. Like, look at how much more money I'm going to make now. Some guys who are like, I'm going to make way more money now because we have this machine helping us push our branding and stuff, and they know how to brand luchas, man. They know how to do that. Yeah, just again, people are like, well, CMLL and AEW. Well, CMLL does better business with MLW, man. I really don't know if AEW's CMLL partnership has been the best for them. Like, CMLL's coasting in Mexico, like they're just doing their thing. So like, I don't think they care really, but for these companies that want to expand to America or have tried to and maybe got a little cold-footed or have had partnerships that were more one way, or they've been worried about that, and then WWE's like, we're really focused on the global thing, then it's perfect. And those are things, just look for incentives like that, along the way. No one's going to talk about that. They're just going to call it shill, selling out, globalized monopolization, and all this. They're going to throw out all this stuff, but they're not going to talk about how this is like going to help AAA talent and stuff like that. They don't really care about the wrestlers. They just care about them and their opinions being right. And if I'm wrong about WWE helping them push their merchant like that, then I'll be the first to call it out. People can point it out and I'll go, they did that up. It's not personal to me, but yeah, just imagine like what a Vikingo could become with a machine behind him and an NXT Lucha title or whatever, right? Whatever, right? Because if they could do a belt like, here's the NXT Grand Campeon or whatever, whatever they call it, the NXT AAA Mexican Championship or whatever they decide to do. I don't know. But then again, that's like El Hijo could carry that around and show up on NXT, whatever, right? And they've worked. Also, El Hijo's going to be in TNA for an Ultimate X match coming up in a week here. So WWE World has a thank you Cena sign that will be gifted to Cena after he retires that everyone can sign. Someone wrote John Cena rules. P.S. AEW sucks. Karrion Kross wins his match at Bloodsport.
Proudly wearing his jiu-jitsu brown belt. First thing I said when I saw him, when's that black belt coming, buddy? He says, I'm working on it. I have no doubt at all. One thing about Karrion Kross, Tom, you've seen it over and over. It doesn't have to be perfect for him to crush your jaw and make you submit. He has that kind of fight-changing physical power. I mean,
is that Jimmy Smith on commentary as well? That's such a good move. Jimmy Smith commentated in WWE, Bellator, UFC. Such a smart move to have him as like the Bloodsport commentator. That should just be his main gig. That's amazing. But yeah, Kross won. He had a solid physical match. He made like a mini doc about it, So Rusev and Lana have both been spotted today in Las Vegas, Nevada, ahead of WrestleMania this weekend. Rusev recently signed a new WWE contract, and the word making rounds is that Lana has signed a Legends deal with the company. Now, it wouldn't be a Legends deal. It would be like a nostalgia deal, but you can't on people for that. You have to give... When you say Legends deal, that could mean like 3 different deals they have out there. Okay, folks, just letting you know. So if you hear of like, oh no, a nostalgia deal, don't play semantics. It's the same, okay? Like she's on essentially, we can use your likeness. We'll put you as a manager in 2K26. You can appear on the show with Rusev. Maybe she won't even be on the show with Rusev, but it's like pretty much we're paying you. You can represent, you're with our company. You're with us, just don't stop and go anywhere. But anyways, Booker T, Bully Ray, and the LFG panel at WrestleMania World.
How many people here would like to see me put Booker T to the table?
Guys, let me run this off for you right quick, guys. 24-time tag team champion. Let's put
for people saying, see in the chat, like Aldis has to be Orton's. No, man, think about it. He's the GM. He could go, I have the newest sign. You wanted an opponent? Here you go. Like, you've RKO'd me. Listen, bro, it's not even that evil of him to do this. He just goes, here's the newest acquisition of SmackDown. And then it's Rusev. And he's like, there you go. Now you got to fight this big guy. You want to RKO me, buddy? Right? And then Rusev gives Orton a hell of a fight. Orton still beats him. And then that's when all this is like on SmackDown, they sort of shake hands, him and Randy, and they go like, hey, nothing personal, just business, right? Like, same with your RKO. You paid me in advance. It wasn't personal. It was just, and I warned you. You warned me. I warned you, right? I think that could work. But at the same time, you don't want to beat Rusev right away, but he is coming back from AEW, and Trinity lost a bunch when she came back from TNA. You have to do that. You have to give back a little bit, especially when you're coming from the other place. Although here's the beauty of Rusev. He never overexposed himself in AEW. So there's probably like shit tons of people who just don't even know where he's been and didn't even know he was in AEW. That's the other thing. But anyways, here's Bubba and Booker talking.
A little asterisk about by a couple of those, all right? The ECW championships, tag team championships, 8 times. Wipe them out. Wipe them out.
Do we have any ECW fans here? ECW! They don't chant for
Booker's right, though. Those weren't the ECW belts, weren't world titles. They were regional belts. You know, really think about it.
ECW and Harlem Heat.
The Hustle Tag Team Championship. Wipe it out.
Fight for the Hustle Super Tag Team Championship.
Wait a minute. The Squared Circle.
No, those don't count. Those are not the 24.
Tag Team Championships. Wipe them out. Okay.
Yeah, well, how many 5-star matches have you had?
Might we digress?
Hey, I do want to bring this up, because you brought up in the middle of what was, I thought, a great response there, hoping that they...
Dudley Boys over Harlem Heat as far as, like, all-time. Harlem Heat over Dudley's as far as, like, aura, and you know what I mean, and like who they were fighting at the time. So John Cena had this to say about Vince McMahon. He says, I don't care who hears it, I love Vince McMahon. I'm not downplaying anything that needs to be decided or allegations of any kind, but when I love somebody, I love them wholeheartedly. I know people are going to be angry about that, but they can't put their value on my relationship with somebody I love. I don't know, that whole situation's it's messy, pal. Yeah. Ask room service. No. Jade Cargill addresses rumors of backstage heat and buries the dirt sheets because they're in the mud, and that's why they're all spurging out this WrestleMania weekend.
No, I'm gonna say this. Like, it's all fake news. Like, it's so weird, and I don't feel the need to.
Okay, you can't even really hear her, and I have it cranked up, but she's just like, listen, don't listen to all this. You hear these news outlets and people say online. And here's Triple H saying people will criticize that out of this, the new world and the internet, etc. You guys heard him. He caught a lot of flack of for saying, like, you know, critics on the internet and blah, 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 blah. Let's take a listen.
This will come across and people will criticize out of this. One thing that Kowalski said to me in the very beginning is, you work them, they don't work you. You tell them where it goes, they don't tell you where it goes, right? You listen to them, you adjust accordingly. You try to think where they will go emotionally, but at the end of the day, we work them. This is, to me, where it gets fun. This, to me, is where, and look, nobody's perfect.
Here's the thing. Everyone's mad about what Triple H is saying, but it's like, no, I'm mad he's biting his tongue so much. Say it. Say what you mean to say. You marks, shut the up. We work you because you're marks. Accept that. It's more fun that way. Speculate and argue like it's comic books and, you know, and movies and sequels and what's going to happen in Avengers Endgame. Oh, my God. That's what makes it fun. But when you take yourself overly seriously, if an asshole like me knows about Triple A before any of the dirt sheets, and I say it on my show like a month ago, what value do they provide when they're just glib and attack anyone who questions them? And then when you question them, they go, well, I don't get why you're questioning us. And then you get attacked. But then when they do or don't know something, you get attacked either way. They know that and you question it and they go, no, we know this. And then they don't know it and you question it. And it's like, why would you question us? Dave Meltzer's like, I'm going to write along. This has been in works for a long time, Brian. It's like, you didn't know, bro. You're sitting there talking about Wagyu beef and we're over here talking wrestling, bro. That's the difference. And shout out PWT, by the way. And this, again, isn't a shot. You know I'm a big fan. We're outdrawing Denise Salcedo on X by like well over double. So thank you all. Anyways, come over to YouTube though if you're on X. So CM Punk is trying to get me to sign. WWE is trying to get me to sign a 5-year deal. So of course the Observer words it like WWE's trying to get me to sign a 5-year deal. He just was explaining like, yeah, they want me to sign 5. I don't even know if I'll go that long, but I'm here in WWE. You know, it's pretty much when you read it, that's what Punk was saying. So hopefully they get him re-signed. Rey Mysterio was carried to the back following his match. This could be a work or a shoot. If anybody, I mean, Rey Mysterio worked an eyeball getting popped out. So if anybody could pull this off, it's him. And yeah, Rey was in there. I called it. Again, none of the sheets knew that. Yeah, John Cena rules. AEW sucks. We covered that. Here's Karrion Kross. We'll play the end of this.
I just said 290. Kratos just leapt off the canvas. Right into a sleeper. No hooks in, but they're not always necessary. He has one. What I say in the beginning, it doesn't have to be perfect if you're Karrion Kross.
He's got the arm across, almost like a Vertola.
That's it.
Yeah, Jimmy Smith had so much validity where he's like, yeah, I mean, the arms across, like you don't have to be perfect with the grip. If you're Karrion Kross, he can snap bats with his heel hooks. You know, there's videos of him doing that. And that's legit too. When Karrion Kross is like snapping bats, that's not like any jiu-jitsu guy can do that. I want y'all to understand. Like people break their arms and legs trying to do that all the time. Like real high-level dudes, and he can do that. So Kross is like in there, you know, and Jimmy Smith's putting it, oh my God, I think that's Jimmy Smith, but it's just like, you know, he doesn't even have to have it fully in for the choke to be applied. I love it like that, dude. That's what AEW could have been. Speaking of Kross, he just cuts a vicious promo on WWE. Scarlett, this has got to be nice. This is like me with my wife. She's got to be nice, and I'm just an asshole. We're at the grocery store. I'm like, who is this guy? Get out. That's so funny.
I couldn't help.
Gets a big push this year coming up.